All right, Nick. Here we are. Bottom 8. Not what I was thinking we were going to be under about 45 minutes ago. Reds are clinging to a 6-5 lead, it feels like.
Dodgers a good team, man. This is
They are. Feels gross,
anyone you get at Dodger Stadium is going to be a very, very hard-earned win. So see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I feel like they've played well. Reds have played well, but they also haven't executed in some critical moments where they kind of could have put this thing a little out of hand per se. There's two situations. Fraley comes up. I know Fraley hit a bomb, so you can't really get on him too much, but two situations. Fraley comes up with guy on third base with less than 2 outs. We're not able to get him in. India wasn't able to pick him up. Yeah. But I got a 1-run lead. Maybe we can bounce into a double play right here and keep it moving. Double play? What, Ellie?
Oh, Ellie. My brother in Christ.
This is what I'm talking about, man. Whew. Was the flip good? Flip was great. Oh, he just lost the fucking ball.
At least they got the out there.
My brother.
Is he going to Alexis?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. There's a 4-out save. This is where you do it. Hopefully we have good Alexis. Whew.
Yeah. Against good teams, we're killing ourselves. We're killing ourselves.
All right. Let's get the chat on here.
Yeah, I mean the only nitpicking you can do with David Bell tonight is saying, do you really? And obviously hindsight's always 20/20, man. But I think David Bell was thinking in his mind he was going to bring in Sims. He didn't expect it to go all that long of a next inning, or you wouldn't assume it was going to be a super long inning. So he's going to come back out, and you would just kind of be in the same rhythm. But I mean, Williamson was throwing the ball well enough to where you could have argued that he could have tried to get that last out of that inning and then brought Sims in a fresh inning, but you never know. I mean, if the wheels would have fallen off Williamson, then everybody would have said they should have brought in somebody to help him. So it's the life of a big league manager.
Yeah, Williamson had allowed 12 base runners. I think you got all you could. It was almost one of those things where that long inning, obviously those insurance runs were huge, but almost kind of shot you in the foot a little bit with Sims. So
yeah,
but if Sims sits after when he threw 2 pitches, they bring in Jabot to start the inning. Jabot gives up a bunch of runs. Then why would you pull Sims after 2 pitches? It's tough, man.
The one thing that's reared its ugly head a little bit today is just the positional changes that happened. It seems like that could, and again, it might just be coincidental tonight, but McLean moving from short to second, or Ellie moving from third to short, and they both make kind of, I wouldn't call them mental mistakes. I'd just call them, I guess physical mistakes. You could say that McLean's was a little mental because I don't think that he was ready. I think that he got distracted by the first base runner, I think, for some reason, and he didn't see the pitch. Here we go. Got to put the chat away, by the way. You guys are ahead of us. We all know that.
Love you.
That didn't hit him, did it? By the way, just literally stole second without even just first pitch. Just here, I'm gonna take this base. Damn, that was so close to hitting him.
That was a heck of a catch by Bailey.
Yeah, it was. Nice pitch. Yeah, base hit scores him, John. We know. It is what it is.
You can't walk him here, though, man. You can't let Freeman hit with 2 runners on base. You got to go after Betts.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is where Diaz has to be Diaz, man. We got to have one of our superstars or one of our stars, whatever term you want to use. They got to be stars, man. Good pitch.
sorry, I'm not keeping up
You're all right.
on the old J bar here. Sorry, folks.
Yeah. Such a good pitch.
One more.
Nope. Maybe let's not throw a cement mixer right down the middle of the plate.
That was wow. Oh my god. Whew.
And then he tries to overcorrect himself and spikes the next one. You know what, though? I know this sounds goofy. I'll live with him getting beat. I will. I'll live with him getting a hit right here.
Yeah, no, you can't let Freeman hit with 2 runners on base.
I'm so sick and tired
Freeman's
of people
the better
walking.
hitter too.
Yeah, I'm just sick and tired of it.
Too.
Yeah, we've walked enough guys tonight. For the love of God, make a play, Cincy. All right.
There we go. Freeman
Well, he
leading
still
off
got
the inning.
still got 3
huge.
more outs. They've outplayed us.
Freeman's leading off the inning. That's huge. That is huge. All right. All right. Let's update some scores here for the old J bar, for the bottom bar. A couple that just went final. Got some help in the wild card race. Giants and D-backs both lost at home.
So invested into this game. When you watch every pitch of a game, and then on top of that, it's 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. I feel like I have way too much riding on this game.
Yeah, pitch clock didn't help us as much today.
For those that don't think that I am a hardcore Reds fan, which I know there's probably 0 people out there that think that. I did something that I am rooting so hard against. But I must admit, when the Reds were up 6-2, I think, I did jump on the Betfred Sportsbook.
Oh no, you didn't.
Yes, I did. And I did put $50 on the Dodgers money line listen to me, just to make sure that I'm not going to go jump off a bridge tonight. I don't want to win that money so bad. It's kind of dumb. I'll literally burn the money right in front of everyone's face. It's not about that. It's about the fact that I can't live with the fact that I've watched 9 innings of baseball and I wouldn't be able to do it. And tomorrow I'll put it all back on the Reds and we'll see how it goes. It's not sacrilegious. I do it all the time, by the way. People that are thinking that's a bad idea, that's not a bad idea. It's a great idea. You should invest in your heart more if you have not done that in your life.
It's pretty degenerate. That's
wise. That's called mending your heart. I mean, if you're an Ohio State fan, imagine putting $1,000 on Michigan. I mean, yeah, it sucks that you lost to Michigan, but you wake up the next day, you got $1,000. You feel a little bit better. Doesn't make it better, but it feels a little bit better.
Oh, CES.
All right. Encarncaion-Strand. It was plus 400. I mean, plus 400. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Don't worry about it though. It's going to be $0. That's what we want. Who's this guy? Vesia.
Solid pitcher. I don't know. I wrote something about him.
He's got a lively arm, man.
.85 whip this season, though.
Yeah.
Struggling.
I'll tell you what. I hope he misses one to CES and CES hits one to the mountains. Come on, Christian. Be on time. Nope. Throw it away. Tell you what, the camera operator for LA, they had a late night yesterday. A little jerky.
Yeah, I really love Sadak and Welch because the Dodgers are actually, their home broadcasts are available in 4K on DirecTV, and I chose the Reds broadcast because I'm a team player. I wouldn't bet against the Reds.
I didn't bet against them either. 4K. I didn't bet against them either.
That's a good bitch.
Yeah, not much you can do. It seems like Ellie always gets like kneecap fastballs that are perfectly strikes. Let's see Ellie hit one out right-handed just to make all the Facebook Reds fans happy. Yep. All right. Well, see if Frito can muster up some magic.
Left on left crime.
Frito's a guy that would lay down a bunt right here.
Yeah, I'd like McLean seeing the ball well tonight. I wouldn't hate that.
I mean, I know this kid sucks based off of statistics, but he, like I said, he's got a little bit of a lively arm on him. I'll have to snap out of this, boys. I'm so nervous right now. I don't even know why I'm this nervous. It's stupid. Yeah. Mouse Cop, as always, is on the likes. We need likes, people. We need them fast. We need likes.
Fast and furious.
Fast and furious. We got 45. Let's get up to 100. We can do 100. We got 100 in us. Did DJ get that? No. Damn. Would have been cool if he did.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Let's do it. Alexis, no big deal. Just Freeman, Smith, and Martinez. Don't worry about those guys.
You think that out of bets, kind of been struggling, maybe gave him a little confidence here?
What gave him confidence?
That out to bets,
yeah,
he has been struggling a little bit.
I mean, I think that's your fandom talking to you right now. Yeah, I hope you're right, but it all comes down to getting this first out. Comes down to getting this first out. I feel like if you get this first out, obviously many people think, but I just think that takes a lot of pressure off of Diaz. If somehow Freeman reaches base, they're going to run for him, I'd assume, right? I don't know what their bench looks like. They did pinch run earlier.
Hold on. I got a stat right here in the back of the head. Freddie Freeman leads the Dodgers in stolen bases.
No, dude. Is he fast or is this just some bullshit stat?
I think he's got 12. He's got 12. I think
my genuine question, what's his sprint speed?
I don't know.
This is the type of inning that I want to see Alexis just be dominant and we don't mess around. Like, can we make this easy?
9 pitches, 3 strikeouts, immaculate inning.
5 pitches.
3 pitches, 3 grounders. All right, hold on. Freddie Freeman.
What's that sprint speed? Is it blue or red?
It's white. Dead average 26.6. Below
All
Max
right.
Muncy though.
So wait a minute. We got Spencer Steer playing what, left field? Is that right?
It's a really short left field, so I mean it should be an easier, knock on wood, left field, right?
Yeah. I'd really like Stuart Fairchild to be out there right now. It's almost like we don't have any roster spots for him to possibly be on this team. All right.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
'97. He's got a little umph in it. He's due to get out, Nick. That's what you tell yourself. He's not. He is.
Oh.
He's due to get out.
Oh, I'm laughing at our friend who runs the C-Box Twitter already clipping us up on that near Mookie home run. He's on it, man.
What the hell? I need them all, Nick. We need them all, bro.
It's a great pitch. It's 1:00 in the morning. Come on.
Yeah, let's go. That's an out. It's foul. Steer, don't get hurt, bro. Well, first of all, I mean, with all due respect, Spencer, he made that look like it was going to land 30 fucking rows up in the stands, and it legit landed like 4 feet out of play. He shouldn't have caught it, but the way he was looking at it, like it was like it was way out of there. All right. Freeman, just make a bad swing more on one time in your life. Catch the ball. Catch the ball.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Spencer, stay hot, dog.
Stay hot. Must be the money.
No doubt about it.
I do not like this guy's 0 for 4.
Let's throw them sliders outside.
This guy has incredible career numbers against the Reds. glad that.
Boy, he got the end of the bat on that, I think. Let's see that replay. How many pitches did we say, Nick? 5? He had to hit this off the end of the bat, right? Barely. I love that lady in the... Go ahead.
Career 1,094 OPS, 6 home runs in 13 games against the Reds entering today. Three and 1 against the Dodgers, Trace. Let's go. More wins than against the Brewers.
Holy smokes, man. Let's do a show, guys. Let's do a show, baby. That's popping tops late into the night, boys and girls. I'm sure there's maybe a girl or two out there listening and watching this show. I don't know why I get this nervous. I really am concerning myself a little bit, Nick. If we get ourselves into a postseason situation, I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to handle myself. Reds survive, I think, is the right term to use here. 6-5. I don't know really where to start. It kind of felt like we got outplayed a little bit, Nick. But having said that, there was some really big bright spots for obviously the Reds tonight, and you got to give them credit. That's a good team they beat.
Yeah, it's a big win. Reds 3-1 against the mighty Dodgers. How about that?
Yeah, for those that don't keep up and aren't degenerates, the Reds tonight, I think, I should say the Dodgers tonight were minus 225 as a favorite, which is a pretty big number, Nick. That's a pretty big number. You usually don't win games where you're minus 200 plus on the money line, and I don't want to say we stole it because that would sound like we completely got outplayed, but it definitely felt like the wheels were falling off, and thankfully, Diaz came through tonight. So we'll probably get into that here in a little bit, but a little box score recap. Try to keep the night moving. How you feeling, Nick? Feeling good? Feeling fresh?
I'm feeling good. We got to give Alex Young a lot of credit too. He really held the game steady there late. All right, your box score recap presented by Betfred Sportsbook. Top of the first, Elly De La Cruz made his presence in Los Angeles felt with a leadoff triple. TJ Friedl RBI groundout quickly made it 1-0 Reds. Matt McLain, who grew up in Cali and went to UCLA, smoked a double. Jake Fraley homered, and the Reds jumped all over the Dodgers flamethrower Bobby Miller and took a 3-0 lead. Jake Fraley, 4 home runs in his last 11 games. Brandon Williamson, he danced around trouble and a lot of base runners all night. 12 base runners on base, but he left with a 5-2 lead with 2 outs in the 6th and a runner on first. I'm sorry, a 3-2 lead. Lucas Sims got out of that inning, and the Reds played add-on from there. Top of the 7th, Spencer Steer ended an 18-game homerless streak with his 15th home run of the year. That put the Reds up 4-2. Tyler Stevenson singled. Will Benson walked. Elly De La Cruz was intentionally walked. Then TJ Friedl was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. That made it 5-2. Then Matt McLain had a bases loaded walk, made it 6-2. Lucas Sims, he had to sit for a while, and he just didn't have it when he came back out on the 7th. He left the bases loaded for Ian Gibaut. Ian Gibaut gave up a single to Freddie Freeman. He struck out J.D. Martinez. But then Ahmed Rosario smoked a ball that Matt McLain misplayed. First step going to the left when he should have gone to the right, and it was 6-5. Alex Young came in. Max Muncy gave us a scare, but it was a 372-foot flyout to end the inning with the Reds holding on to a 6-5 lead. And that would be the final score. Alex Young pitched got 2 outs in the 8th. Alexis Diaz got a 4-out save. And Reds win 6-5. Brewers lost 10-7 to the Braves. Reds now a half game back in the NL Central. Reds are tied for the first wild card spot with the Phillies.
Deep South commodities. You dropping that on me? The DSC, deep drive of the game. Deep drive of the game. You going with Spencer Steer? Who are you going with? Spencer Steer. That gave the Reds a probability of winning this game at 81%. However they came with that, I'm not sure. But damn it, it did. And by God, that might have been the difference. In fact, some would say it was the difference. Shout out to DSC, Deep South Commodities. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com to check them out. Thank you to John and his team, as always, at DSC. They've been supporters of us since the All-Star break. We appreciate them, and I can't tell you how thankful we are that Spencer Steer gave us a chance to mention them. Nick, you have on this rundown Reds offense. That was what would be the right term? Was it a concern? I don't know if it was a concern, but I think it was something that you started to notice about the lack of offense the last whatever it's been. And, of course, it's the Brewers. It always comes around with the Brewers, it feels like, when it comes to lack of offense. But it's nice to see them bounce back. They had an off day out there in L.A. They used it wisely. I don't know what they did, but they used it wisely. They jumped out to – they kind of got the monkey off their back early, too, and that helps when Elly De La Cruz hits a triple. It would have been nice to see it. Bally Sports was sucking. I don't know if you had the same feed I had, but hell, I didn't even know where hell Elly was half the time. That's here nor there. Any other thoughts outside of the fact that they got the monkey off their back?
Yeah, I mean, nice just to come right out, put up a 3-spot against the Dodgers. Obviously, the pitcher they were facing has struggled of late, but I mean, this guy is a top 20 prospect in all of baseball coming into the year. Throws the hardest fastball in
like
baseball.
102 miles an hour. Shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
I'm not apologizing for getting hits off that guy.
Yeah, I mean, this is, in all reality, probably the toughest starter you'll face this weekend. So you're able to get a win on Friday. I mean, you put 6 runs up against the Dodgers, you did something right. I know they may have missed some chances, but the Dodgers also have some really good pitchers that I think also made some really good pitches throughout the day. So after just getting dominated by the Brewers, coming out putting a 6-spot at Dodger Stadium in Game 1, I think that was a really, really good showing from the Reds offense overall.
Chat. There's some late night chat going on right now, and I love it. There's some funny shit in that chat right now, Nick. I don't even know what you said. I was too busy reading the chat. All right, back to the rundown. Reds offense was good, and you know what was nice to see was they did it a multitude of ways. I mean, the long ball is something that you really need to be able to be a productive offense. I'm not suggesting you have to be the Braves and basically hit 4 home runs a game, but Fraley's home run kind of I don't want to say that kind of got I keep bringing this monkey on the back, but it kind of let everybody take a deep sigh of relief, and it's like, okay, we're back a little bit, and it's like, this isn't going to be a 2-1 game or a 3-1 game. They finally scored some runs, obviously, later. Matt McLain looked like Matt McLain again. It took him every bit of 1 game or 2 games to get back to himself. Will Benson had a really good at bat too. I don't want to. I don't know if he was on the little rundown there, but Will Benson had a good at bat. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of people. And you know who I thought had a great game? And I want to mention it. I want to say it proudly on air. I thought Jonathan India had a great game.
Did you mention Spencer Steer?
Well, I mean, I did on the DSC rundown there.
Well, you said you were missing anyone. I was just, 2 for 4. Had an homer in 18 games. I mean, a guy that has 15 homers on the year to go 18 games without a homer, that was big, and that was a huge run in the game for sure.
It is. We have to keep surviving and advancing right now. We play some really tough teams. If we can just hang around 500, I'm not trying to sound like a loser by saying that, but if we can just hang around 500, let's try to get to the middle of August and see where we're at. And like you've mentioned, you wouldn't be shocked if the Brewers got swept by Atlanta. I wouldn't be shocked if the Brewers played 500 or less baseball the rest of the way out. I could be completely wrong about that. I know I'm the guy that keeps yelling and saying that the Brewers aren't very good and they keep beating the Reds like a redheaded stepchild. And I don't know why that is a thing, by the way. Don't get me canceled. I'm not sure where that term comes from. It's just something I've always heard. I'm just regurgitating what I've heard. So I'm just saying that's what it's been like. Anyway, I digress. B. Will in the bullpen. Brandon Williamson's starting to become I don't want to overreact here. He's starting to become a guy that actually looks like he belongs, and he believes that he belongs, and he looks the part. You know what I'm saying? Like, this doesn't look like a fluke anymore. I genuinely think he's not nervous. He's not scared. He expects to get guys out. Your thoughts on his start?
Yeah, I mean, he did give up 12 base runners today, so I don't want to, go too overboard, but he also kept the ball in the ballpark against the team that hits a lot of home runs. I think their top 4 hitters in the lineup have like 25 plus home runs. So, I mean, the fact that you're able to keep the ball in the ballpark, you can dance around some trouble if you do that. His fastball averaged 94 tonight. That was his highest average velocity in a start this season. So, it seems like he's maximizing his talent right now. And yeah, I mean, he's been huge for the Reds. Just a guy that we thought. I just remember when he came up against the Rockies. We're like, I think the Reds are just throwing him out there, saying, "Hey, you've kind of sucked at AAA. You sucked at AAA. We're just gonna throw you out there. We need someone to pitch." And somehow this guy said, "Hey, let's ride." He's still in this rotation, and I think he's probably gonna survive the rest of the year. It's just really incredible his season.
Nick, did you do that on purpose because he made his debut in Denver, and you said let's ride, or was that just a coincidence?
That was completely accidental. Accidental.
Let's ride. Big Corey, the Viking helmet guy, with a $5 super chat said the Viking Rake Fraley killing it again tonight. No, he did. Rake Fraley. I don't want to say he's the MVP of the game because I don't believe that, but. He got us on the board. Here's the weird thing about baseball, and I'm not trying to get too into the weeds on this baseball game a little bit, but if Joey Votto would have hit a home run tonight, everybody would have been like super excited about that, right? And like they would have brought it up. We would have mentioned it, et cetera, et cetera. If he makes that play at first base, it's just as good as him hitting a home run. It is. It would have saved a run. And you know what else I'm going to say? Jake Fraley, if he hits 2 weak ground balls with a guy at third base with 1 out, we don't bring him up at all, but he scores 2 runs. But he hits a 2-run home run, and we got guys giving him super chats. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a super chat. By God, he does. Rake Fraley's a great player. I'm glad he's on our team, and he's been great all year. I'm just saying, like, those are the small things that, like, we just gloss over, and because it's a long game, it's 9 innings, et cetera, et cetera. But defense matters. I mean, it does. Defense matters, and hopefully we can start to convert when we have opportunities. We're not going to get them all in, Nick. I'm not naive. We're not going to be able to get a guy in at third base with less than 2 outs every single time. But I'd like to see us extend leads when we have an opportunity. All right. A. Willis is saying I sound too toxic. I mean, maybe that could be the case. It is late night. It's like 1:30 in the morning. But I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it upbeat and positive. I'm just bringing up solid points, I thought. All right, bullpen. I mean, outside of Lucas Sims, it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jabot was fine. I mean, it's a bad spot.
I mean, shit. Yeah, he came into a mess. We can't just like downplay him, right? I don't know. I mean, I know he came into a burning house. What do we expect him to? We expect him to have a house party in it like 2 minutes later. I don't understand. I did see people getting mad at Ian Jabot on Twitter a little bit. I made a post on Ian Jabot that just said, if he gives up some kind of hard hit ball on some tough pitch, I don't want to hear about it, because Jabot threw like 4 or 5 dead center, nut cutting, right down the middle fastballs that didn't get hit, thankfully. But that's beside the point. I think all of the blame, for my opinion, falls on Sims. He's a great pitcher. I'm not downplaying him. I don't think that Sims is going to hurt us down the line. But if you were to say, hey, what was the problem tonight? His name was Lucas Sims was a problem tonight.
Yeah, Lucas Sims walked 2 batters, and that really was just looked tribute. Yeah, Jabot came in with to a house on fire, and he saved the bathroom just enough to keep the structure up, and
he kept the basement alive and let all the people that were partying down there continue to party, and that's all of us at 2 a.m. I thought it was a great job by our bullpen. I really do. I thought it was a great job. Outside of one guy, it was a great job. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, Alex Young getting 3 outs. That was a big job from him. Alex Young has a 2.20 ERA. I feel like he's just kind of really flown under the radar because he kind of gets used a lot differently than the other relievers. But I mean, as the one lefty in this bullpen, and I think they need to get another one. He's been awesome. He's been great. And then Alexis Diaz, who had been struggling to retire all 4 batters, got a little fortunate with that one pitch he left to Mookie Betts that just went foul. But other than that, he was really, really good.
Yeah.
Didn't walk anyone.
Yep. No, I'm looking at the chat. I mean, listen, we're all thrilled to death. I mean, what a huge win. I don't want to gloss over this. Can I say something out loud here that I'm not saying I'm overly concerned about, but I am paying attention to it. There's a team behind us right now that's playing out of their mind. And I'm not suggesting that I'm worried about it, but I am suggesting that every single win that we obtain right now is one day closer to them falling apart a little bit. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm not even going to bring them up. But I think they're like 4.5 back. Tonight, they'd have been 3.5 back of us. They're 4 back now. So, I mean, that's these games matter. Every single one of these matter right now because I think it's momentum more than anything. And I'm not saying I'm not concerned about the Brewers, but I'm really not. I don't know what can you explain to me why I have this unbridled confidence that if we just play relatively decent the rest of the way that the Brewers are going to figure a way to mess it up? What is it about them that I hate so much?
You don't look at the Brewers team and go, that's a team that's going to go out and win 90 games, right? Like I don't see that happening. I mean, I think that I don't think they're going to fall off the map. I think they're going to be a competitive team till the end. I think their projection right now is 86. I think they'll probably be, that 84 to maybe 87 range. And that's why the Reds are probably always going to have a chance in the NL Central because I just don't think the Brewers are going to run away.
Right.
I'm not all that worried about the Cubs because honestly, if the Reds can't finish ahead of the Cubs, Reds aren't going to make the playoffs anyways. That's kind of
so you don't believe in the fact. I'll tell you what would be the funniest thing, the greatest thing that could happen for the Reds would be if somehow the Cubs convince themselves that they need to be buyers and or they should hold course. They need to stay the course. And they don't get anything in return for Bellinger. They don't get anything in the return for Stroman. And then they just fall apart or they don't make the playoffs. Like that would be they always say you can't have your cake and eat it too. That would be having your cake and eating it too. Like that would be you're living right if that happens. So maybe it'll all work out in the end.
I guarantee you that Cubs front office right now is like, oh man, we're in the absolute. They're almost in a nightmare spot right now because they are damned if they do, they are damned if they don't.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, they're in a bad spot.
They're in the absolute worst spot you could be as an organization because they have their feet in both.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's jump into that a little bit then. We got trades and David Bell next. The David Bell extension. I don't want to say you knew about it already, but you did. You're just nice enough of a guy not to tell everybody. So you knew that was coming. I think most people that had a rational take on the Reds knew that David Bell was going to get an extension. I mean, he's done a great job this year. He's done nothing really in my mind to make you think that he's not capable of being not just a serviceable manager, but a decent to good big league manager. He's never had the ability, in my opinion, at least over a long enough stretch, to have the talent on the field to be able to truly judge him one way or the other. So I'm not suggesting that I think, and the chat knows this, David Bell, I guess I'm indifferent on him. I don't love him. I don't hate him. I think part of the reason I don't love him is just because because he's terrible in interviews, I guess, which is a really bad way to judge a manager, but that's just part of it. I guess that's kind of like choosing your president because they can't speak or something along those lines. Like maybe that's not the smartest thing to do, but that it makes a little bit of a difference. So I'm okay with it. I know that you're a David Bell guy, so you're probably happy.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it was a no-brainer move to extend him. I mean, this team was supposed to lose 90-plus games. I mean, even if you only extend him 1 year, I mean, you had to extend him. I mean, I guess maybe the debate could be, should you extend him 1 or 3? I don't know. Maybe David had the leverage to extend 3. I don't really know how managers' extensions contracts work. If someone does, please chime in.
David Bell had leverage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he said, yeah, I want 3 years, and if not, I'm going to walk away. The Reds would have kind of looked pretty dumb. So he actually, it's kind of weird that David Bell was able to get leverage after probably no one thought that was possible at the beginning of the year. But nonetheless, so 2019, I thought that year David Bell made a lot of mistakes. I think the one thing that he did early was he tried to be too aggressive with his bullpen management, tried to be a little too analytical. Yeah, I said that. Trying to go to his bullpen too early and kind of burn out some of his starters. And I think he learned a lot in 2019. But 2020, Reds ended up getting projected to win 31 games in the shortened season. Reds won 31 games. 2021, they were projected, this by the same projection system, to win 80. They won 83. Obviously, 2022 was a rough year. If you could find a manager that would have got something out of the Reds last year, I'd love to hear it. But then this year, obviously, I mean, the Reds were projected to win 65 games, and I don't know, what did they just win? Their 57th. Yeah. So, and we're not even in August yet. So his teams most years that he's been the manager have either done what they should done or overachieved. Not a good manager, in my opinion.
I can't disagree with that. Gummado, I think that's how you say it. Gummadude. Anyway, Super Chat says Indy is batting 252. CS is batting 241. Just saying. That's fair. The only thing I'm going to say is CS has like 30 at bats, man. And he's not really getting an opportunity to play every day right now. I'd like to see CS get a stable amount of at bats, like, be in the lineup a significant amount of time. And right now, that's just not the reality because you have a guy named Joey Votto who has a track record around Cincinnati, and you have Jonathan India who, at times has shown why he was a Rookie of the Year, and there's times where he's shown why half the fan base wants to trade him. So, I'm not going to get into that tonight. I don't think it's really fair to pin those two against each other right now at any stretch of the imagination, but that's a fair. I'm not knocking you. I mean, stats are stats. Bryce Sizemore with a Super Chat says, I just want one part of this team to be consistent. I understand that they are young and inexperienced, but something just makes me confused watching the Reds right now. That's relatively fair, but the only thing I would say, Bryce, is like the bullpen's been pretty damn consistent. Like outside of maybe 1 or 2 games here or there, this bullpen, when you've handed the ball to them, they, for the most part, have done what you've asked them to do and or have given you an opportunity to win. The offense, yeah, it's been inconsistent, but you said it. Got a bunch of young guys. I think that's just part of the ride. Like, when it's kind of like you come to expect it. You go to a fast food restaurant, Nick, you're probably not going to get the best service. Like, you got young players, you're probably going to have mistakes. These are things that suck sometimes, but overall, perspective is maybe the greatest thing in life, Like, I genuinely mean that, Nick. I think sometimes, like, your perspective single-handedly can change your overall opinion on the world. It can change your overall opinion on a day. It can change your attitude and heartbeat. Like, you think you have it bad, but then if you have perspective of what other people are going through, you realize you have it pretty good. Or you can make yourself feel like you have it really bad if you compare yourself to people that have something better than you. It's all about what you want to make of it. This team was supposed to win. Do I need to remind? I'm not going to remind everyone. I'm going to remind everyone. This team was supposed to win 65 games. We were supposed to absolutely suck. Like, Nick, we're talking on July 29th at 1:30 in the morning. There's 380 people in this chat. What the? You know what? It's a kid's show. This isn't supposed to be real. We weren't supposed to ever do this. People thought we were stupid, and actually I know they did because I have screenshots of it, and I'm a kind of a petty little asshole that screenshots those. I keep a little bit of receipts. One day I'm going to pull those receipts out, and we're going to put the people right on the old pedestal and let them know, hey, still here. I know you're making fun of us for doing a show every day, but here we are, and the truth is, don't forget, I know it can be frustrating, this team can be frustrating, but I was nervous tonight. I was nervous about a baseball game that genuinely I thought we were going to be just trenching through them. Me and Nick were going to be trying. Nick was going to be telling me about these great prospects we got in Double-A and how the future's going to be bright. Don't you worry. Nick Kroll is going to be the man that's going to bring us to the top. I promise you guys, just listen to me. And you know what? We don't even need to listen to Nick because it's right in front of our face. We get to watch it every day. So it's a blessing. This team's a blessing. I don't want to forget that. Can it be frustrating at times? Sure. But don't forget the fact of the matter is we're not supposed to be here this yet. Could you imagine if you were looking at the Reds really fast, chat? Think about this. Could you imagine if you were the rest of the division and you were looking at the Reds? Like if you were the Cubs and you looked at the Reds and you're like, they got Ellie, Matt McClain, Andrew Abbott, Spencer Steer. I mean, they just brought up the CES kid. They supposedly have this Noelve Marte kid that's in AAA that's going ham. And we're out here trying. We got retreads that we might need to get rid of. And then you look at the Pirates, they're the Pirates. You look at the Brewers, they're looking around thinking we probably only got like 1 or 2 more years left of this. There's really one team right now that everybody's looking to and thinks those are the big dogs. Those are the guys we probably need to be worried about. And it's the Cincinnati Reds. It's the Cincinnati Reds. So God bless America and God bless the Reds. Don't forget it. I'll end my rant on that, Nick, but let's not, and I know, let me also be clear. I don't want to act like I was all directing that towards Bryce. Bryce, thank you for the super chat. I'm not that wasn't towards you, Bryce. That's just towards Twitter in general and sometimes the fans that want to get frustrated at the situation we're in. I mean, if Nick Krall doesn't do a damn thing, let me say this straight to everyone's face, and I hope you clip this up and put it on Twitter. For all of you people that want to sit here and act like the Reds are absolutely doomed if they don't make a trade at the deadline or they do something, you're the same pieces of you-know-what that were sitting there telling me this team was going to be god-awful and they need to trade everybody and they need to get rid of the front office and Bob and all those guys need to sell the team. And now you want to turn around and tell me what to do? You want to tell Nick what to do? No, I'm not talking about Nick Kirby. I'm talking about Nick Krall. You think you know more about this franchise than he does? Do you watch the games? Do you see what's going on? I don't give a damn what he does. If he wants to sit on his couch and eat potato chips for the next 5 days and do nothing, I don't give a damn because he proved to me he knows what he's doing. I digress.
How do I come back from that?
I don't know, but I think I just spit all over the camera. But I don't give a damn. I'm so sick and tired of people acting like they know more about this than Nick Krall does. I mean, do they watch the games? Do you just watch the TV? Or do you not have cable? Maybe they watch the Game Day app.
I will add this. I will say that, and I'm not going to call them out by name, but some of the folks leading the Nick Krall better do something at the deadline said when the Reds traded for Jake Fraley and Brandon Williams, and then it was the darkest day in Reds history. So let's let that be what it is. That was looking pretty good right now. So I don't know. Okay, so let's go back to the consistency talk here. So yeah, I mean, look, this team is going to be inconsistent. They have a lot of rookies. I think the fact that they have 57 wins is a lot of credit to David Bell, that he's guided this inconsistent ship, right? That they're able to go through these highs and lows. And I'm interested to see the Reds. They just had 9 games against the Brewers. We talked at length on Wednesday about how are the Brewers just this bad matchup? We're trying to figure it out. And I think we're probably both kind of like not really sure about it, not really sure what to make about it. But some of it, I'm interested to see what they'll do now that they're past the Brewers, now that they have some teams that haven't faced them over and over and over again, that the Brewers are able to exploit a lot of the Reds' offensive weaknesses. And tonight, they looked right back on schedule. So they got 2 more pretty good matchups in this series. Then they're going against the Cubs team that has some good pitching, but nowhere near the Brewers. And you got some other teams, and you got a chance, I think, really for this offense to really, I think, get cooking. And I'm interested to see. I don't know. I have no idea what Spencer Steer, what Matt McClain, what Ellie De La Cruz, what Christian Encarnacion-Strand. I have no idea what those guys are going to look like in September, and I don't think anyone has an idea. And that's also why I'm kind of concerned. It kind of goes into the next point of what I had on this rundown is the trades. I'm not mortgaging the future on unknowns. I'm enjoying this. I think the Reds have a great chance here. They have a great opportunity here. Right. But you could go make a big trade, and then these guys just kind of run out of steam at the end. That's also possible. And one more point is, I think when you look at acquiring certain players, you need to be real with yourself. You need to say, how much does that player move the needle for the Reds' chances of making the playoffs, right? So the Reds right now are at 34.2% chance of reaching the playoffs, okay? So Lance Lynn was traded today. Lance Lynn was a guy that I wanted, not a guy that I wanted when you were giving up a legit prospect for like the Dodgers did. But the Dodgers have a little bit more luxury in that, whereas, they can overcome giving up a prospect a lot easier than the Reds. But Lance Lynn, how much does Lance Lynn move your needle from 34% up? Does he move you to 38%?
Right.
That's where I want to see every player that suggests the Reds should trade for, that 34%. And I think it's a pretty fair number. I really do. Maybe they should be a little higher. Maybe they should be 40, 45. But how much is that really moving the needle up? That's where you need to look at each player and say, is that really worth me giving up a player that we could have 6 years of control of in the future to move me from 34 to 38 or 40 to 42 or 40 to 46?
Right. Listen, I also want to remind everybody that if you are of the mindset that it's like, oh, you'll never know if you have this chance again, or, like you got a chance to win now, you better win now type thing. You don't pick the time picks you, all of those types of things. And some of that is truthful. Like there's a little bit of truth in those statements. However, that's also degrading what Krall in the front office has done to a small extent as well. If you don't think that what they're doing now is skill-based and you think it's just lucky, like you just think all of these guys that they got are just luck. Somehow they just closed their hat, they closed their eyes, stuck their hand into a hat, and decided they were going to draft Matt McLain. They decided they were going to draft Andrew Abbott. They decided they were going to go trade and get CES and Spencer Steer. Now, did they know they were going to get CES and Spencer Steer and they were going to look as good as they did? Did they know what they were going to get out of Will Benson and him look as good as they did? Maybe not to the fullest extent, but for the vast majority of what they're doing is a skill-based thing. And the idea of what he's trying to do, and I say he is a Nick Krall in the front office, what they're trying to do is build depth. So if they do miss on one or two guys, the third guy that they have is a guy that can be plug and play. And he's a guy that can replace somebody that we ultimately can't spend to keep around, right? Like at some point, and I'm not trying to forecast this in the future this far, but at some point, Matt McLain becomes a free agent, and or Ellie becomes a free agent, and or TJ Friedel isn't going to be up to snuff anymore, or Jake Fraley is going to be a guy that has to go. When those things come about, Nick Krall and their front office, they want to have multiple options to plug and play. So if somebody doesn't pan out, they got two or three other guys they feel comfortable with that might pan out. And that's the whole point of not prospect hugging. It's not trying to say you can't touch anybody because we think all of these guys are going to be superstars. It's that you don't want to get rid of a bunch of guys that are the second or third or first option for when they come up. Really, in my opinion, Nick, there's only one more golden child that's going to come up, or whatever you want, a golden prospect that's going to come up that we all expect to be very good. After that, there's really, I'm not saying that there isn't. Yes, we Connor Phillips and Chase Petty and all those guys, we hope they come up and we hope they're Cy Young type guys, whatever. But my main point is that outside of Noelvi Marte, in the near interim, and maybe you could say Connor Phillips too, there's not really anyone and you could say 100% they're going to be on it. But would it surprise you? Would it surprise you in your wildest dreams if I gave you 6 different names right now? And you could pull them up faster than I am, but I'm just saying, would it surprise you if Reese Hines ends up being one of the best players that we have for the next 6 or 7 years, and he wasn't even a guy that we ultimately started talking about until lately? That's my main point. So before we go and trade the farm for a bunch of unproven rookies that we have no idea how they're going to perform in September and October and November, if we get there, I'm not going to blame our front office for not going after it when we have a chance or being cheap. Those are just, I hate to say this, but when you say those things, it just clearly shows me that you're not a good fan. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just that you don't invest as much time into this as other people, to where you're just not as knowledgeable about the situation as other people. Simple as that.
The funny thing is since Nick Krall's taken over as GM, I think there's one trade that he regrets. And that was the trade where they got Puig and they got Alex Wood and they got Kyle Farmer. That was a very short-sighted move.
Is that Matt Kemp? We get Matt Kemp in that deal?
We played like 6 games. Yeah. But the funny thing is about that trade is the Reds' one weakness right now is starting pitching. The guy they gave away has a 3.27 ERA and was an all-star for the Nationals. So, yeah, sure, you can't be afraid to make a trade, but it sure would be nice to have Josiah Gray in this rotation right now. So that's what you're up against. And yeah, I mean, I get you can't be afraid to make a trade, but at the same time, I'm more willing to give up prospects that have a lot of real potential when the Reds' odds are on the other side of 50%.
Of course.
When they're up at 60, 70, yeah, that might be the time to be a little more aggressive because you're moving that 60 to 70 or that 70 to 80 as opposed to moving that 35 to 40 or 45. That's a big, big difference to me. I'm fine just writing it out. I think they should look to acquire some relievers. I think what the Reds did at 2021 deadline would be almost perfect right now, where you found 3 relievers that were good, not great, and it helped the team, and I think it would help the team now. But there's also a lot of guys that are coming back, too. That kind of goes into the next one. You want me to kind of jump into that, having a big league segue here?
Oh, big league segue. You know what a big league segue is that your boy's camera just crapped out. So I'm going to plug it in, make sure we get a dunk. But, that's what happens on late night Reds at 1:40 in the morning. But you know what? You know what? That's fitting. I don't even mind that screen grab. It looks like I'm pissed. I'm looking over at the chat. That's just part of the way, maybe that's the way it goes tonight. But I'll get the camera plugged back in here. But you have some, what were you going to say? You're going to have some MILB or some injury updates?
Yeah, I got both. Hold on, let me put in here, see the people. I don't know how anyone would be just tuning in. I feel like if you've been here, you've been here. But I'll put camera broken for those watching. All right, so some injury updates, some really good stuff for the Reds, really encouraging stuff. Hunter Green through live batting practice on Friday, up to 99 on his velocity. He's scheduled to start a rehab assignment for the Louisville Bats on August 5th. That's in 7 days. That's exciting. All goes well, could return August 20th. Nick Lodolo threw a side session on Friday as well. Needs some more, but the target date for him is now late August. That's to get back to the big leagues late August. TJ Antone pitching in Arizona on Friday. Plans to go to Louisville and pitch starting on Tuesday. Casey Legumina pitching in Arizona in the Complex League. Vladimir Gutierrez pitching in Arizona in the Complex League. Only downside, Reaver San Martin, who we were speculating on. Maybe the Reds were listening to our show and decided, hey, we better give an update on this guy. Probably not, but he had UCL reconstruction surgery last month, and his season's over. But some good stuff, man. We got some. It's a lot of pitchers that could really turn things around for where the Reds are at as a pitching staff as a whole. There's some risk in that. I mean, I don't know what Nick Lodolo is going to look like when he comes back, but that's a lot of dudes that you could be adding here that could really have, I think, a lot of impact. What's your kind of thoughts on that, Trace?
I think that it's good and bad in a way. Like, part of that is that you're going to be playing meaningful baseball, and you got to figure out what these guys have, or if they're I don't want to say ready or not. Like Legumina, like if he comes back, what spots are you putting him in? Are you putting him in? I mean, you would like to think that he's not going to get that many high leverage situations. However, it feels like, and maybe it's just because we watch these guys on a daily basis and we get ourselves kind of more into the weeds on this than if you take a little more of a macro view, it's not as great, it's not as crazy. But like, it doesn't feel like the Reds have all that many non-high leverage situations, period, ever. I mean, when are the Reds playing a baseball game where you're like, yeah, just throw Legumina out there. If he gives up 4 runs, who gives a damn? It doesn't matter. I mean, that doesn't happen all that often. So, how do you get him in a spot where you feel comfortable with him? When Lodolo comes back, are you going to throw him in the bullpen or use him as an opener like we said? Or is he going to come back and you're just going to say, hey, he's a starter? I mean, starters, like it or not, at least outside of, and again, I've defended him tooth and nail. I can't really defend him anymore. Outside of Luke Weaver, Nick, everybody else is throwing the ball pretty good. Pretty good. You could make the argument that Ben Lively, at least you feel like you're going to get a pretty decent start out of him. You don't know what you're going to get from Nick Lodolo. You don't. And Hunter Green maybe is a little bit different because I don't think his injury's as crazy. So I guess that's kind of my overall thoughts on it are I'm happy that they're coming back, but I'm also a little concerned that we have to get these guys' feet wet in meaningful situations because that seems like what's going to have to happen.
So the starting pitching rotation is really interesting because let's say you get Green and Lodolo back, then that's 2, and you only need 3 more pitchers to fill the rest of your rotation. You have Ashcraft, Abbott, Lively, Williamson. That's 4. That's up to 6 right there. And there's that Connor Phillips guy that's sitting at AAA. So there are 7 options I think most of us probably feel pretty good about at some point. Someone else could get hurt, though, that's active right now. That's possible. I think in Legumina's case, by the time Legumina gets up to speed here in a couple weeks, there's probably an injury that he replaces someone on the roster. It's just that's kind of how these things go. Someone of that relievers when you're into August is going to get hurt. It's just, that happens in a baseball season. So he provides some depth. Vlad Gutierrez provides some depth. Guy I'm going to talk about here in a second, Lyon Richardson, could really, really provide some depth. TJ Anton, the list goes on. Those are just all guys that could just provide some depth where you're not calling up, Salazar or Karcher or someone like that.
You don't have to worry about Karcher. I think that he's I don't know where Karcher is, but he's not in the Reds organization.
Yeah, he is.
The last time I checked, he got brought back?
He cleared waivers, my man. Cleared waivers. He threw a shutout inning yesterday, bro.
Well, that just shows how much I pay attention.
Didn't listen to the podcast this morning, Trace. Come on, man.
No, I did not.
Come on, man.
I did not. I cannot believe it. The fact that Karcher is still thrown in the Reds organization. What a god! I don't know if that's a godsend or if that's just a something that really shows what kind of arms we have down in where's he at? Louisville, I assume.
Yeah.
That
was Louisville.
My gosh. All right. I guess some MILB, then we'll do some Nicolas Cage, and then I'll see if this camera works, and we'll try to cap this night off the only way that I know how.
All right, I'll try to run through this quick since it is almost 2 a.m. All right, Louisville, they won 5-3 over Indianapolis in 10 innings. Bats came back to win in extra innings, now 53-45 on the year. Bats 2.5 back in the West Division of the International League. Lyon Richardson, he made his AAA debut, and it was spectacular. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 0 walks, 5 Ks. He's been on a strict pitch count all year because he's coming back off Tommy John surgery. So if he did get called to the big leagues, he'd be probably like a 2-inning guy at a time, but he could be incredibly effective. He's just been dominant at every level this year. Tonight, 9 swing and misses on 18 swings. His fastball average, 97.4, topped out at 98.4, and the Indianapolis Indians had just 1 hard hit ball against him. So Lyon Richardson, I don't know how many games they're going to have him throw in Louisville, but I feel like he's going to get called up soon. That's just a gut feeling from me. All right, Noelvi Marte, 1 for 3, hit a home run, his 10th, stole his 14th base, and he also walked. Marte's home run went 421 feet, exit velocity of 107. Marte, man, he continues to hammer on the door. Christian Roa, want to mention him, pitched okay. He actually came in for the first time in relief. It was after Richardson, so it was kind of like a staggered start. 4 1/3. He gave up 3 earned runs, struck out 7, walked 4, but he did only allow 2 hard hit balls. So a positive outing from Roa today. And then Tony Santillan, he threw a scoreless inning as well. Double-A Chattanooga, they also won in extra innings. They beat Montgomery 4-3. Lookouts now 50-43 with a walk-off single by Alex McGarry in the 10th inning. Blake Dunn stole his 41st base of the season between multiple levels. Reese Hines, he had 2 walks. High A Dayton, they lost 7-6. Dragons, they had their 6-game win streak snapped. They're now 48-46 on the season. Dragons are 2 back in the East Division of the Midwest League. In this one, Hunter Park started the game. That was the guy that Tom Nichols said the scouts are most looking at right now. He was ejected after hitting a batter on the first pitch of the game. I think there was some history there. He hit the guy at his last start, maybe, or something.
You think?
But one pitch and he got ejected. not a whole lot of good offense in this game other than Cade Hunter. He was 2 for 3. The catching prospect since he got promoted, hitting .345 with an OPS over 1,000 in 9 games. Jay Allen left the game with an apparent non-contact injury. It looked like he was dizzy or something. Tom Nichols, though, actually tweeted, he's the voice of the Dragons, and said that he was told that he is okay. So that's good to hear. And then the Tortugas, they lost 8-2. Tortugas have lost 7 of 8, now 40-51 on the year. Really nothing going on at all in this game other than Victor Acosta doubled. Everyone else had a rough night.
Safe to say. Cameron's back for a short time. We'll see if we can get all this in at once. You guys, the fact that it's this many people watching at 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't know if that says more about us or you, but together we're like a dynamic team, and we appreciate you. The fact that you are this loyal to the show. Who, what, when, where, and why, Nick. And we got some Nicolas Cage pillows and some dunks to do.
All right, Luke Weaver against Emmett Sheehan tomorrow. Sheehan 3-1 with a 6.75 ERA this year. He was a 6th-round draft pick in 2021. He was a top 100 prospect entering the year. His first start, he threw 6 no-hit innings, but really has kind of been downhill from there for Sheehan. Last start was ugly, allowed 8 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings against the Rangers. And he does not throw a lot of strikes. So hopefully the Reds can, obviously a talented pitcher. I mean, if you're not a top 100 prospect by accident, but a guy that hopefully the Reds can hit around. And they might need it because Luke Weaver will be on the mound. Luke Weaver and his ERA of 8.79 over the last 10 starts, but the Reds are 9-1 in those starts. So I don't know. What else you say? Weaver got rocked by the Dodgers in his last start, but the Reds won. The Reds won. That was Ellie De La Cruz's MLB debut. Or, second game. I don't know. One of those games.
Whatever.
One of those crazy. Luke Weaver, does he got more magic in him, Trace?
I mean, until he shows he doesn't have any more magic left, you got to keep trying. Got to keep testing it out. I'll tell you who definitely has some more magic in him, and that is Nicolas Cage. Let's see Nick. Let's see Nick. Little Nick on Nick crime. Let's see it. Nice. Put him up there.
Nick After Dark.
That looks good. All right, folks, I don't know how much longer my camera is going to stay around, but I can't tell you how ridiculous it is that you watch this show this late. It is absolutely a joke. But you know what? It is a dumb show, and we're 2 dumb people, but you guys are all smart. And that's what keeps this show going. Much love to you. I can't tell you how much we love you. I know, hopefully, be back better than ever tomorrow. Okay? Be back better than ever tomorrow with another win. Probably not supposed to get one win, but we're going to try. We should at least try. We'll see how it goes. As always, go Reds. I'm going to go try to dunk a basketball as quietly as I can, because if I don't, I might be dead. I won't be on the show tomorrow. See ya. Much love.
I thought you weren't on the show tomorrow anyway.
We'll see. Like the baby athlete.